marching leader of Canada.
That's good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough. That's fine.
Take it away.
Thank
Let's
you.
have a big hand for it.
Hi, everyone. I didn't make a PowerPoint. I teach for a living, so I'm very versed at talking. I also teach grade 8. Has anybody done that before?
Yeah.
I'd prefer to go to jail. This year I have a class that is about 85% girls in grade 8. I'll take solitary confinement for a very long time. I'm here today to talk to you. You'll see it in your books. We don't need to go over my bio because I'm a human like everybody else in this room. I've just worked very, very hard. I come from nothing. My parents are immigrants. I built a business. I'm in housing as well, so I house in low-income neighborhoods. Some days are good, some days are bad, but it's still my business. But I'm here today to talk to you mainly about citizenship rights, because in 17 countries around the world, women cannot access citizenship for themselves or their children if they don't marry indigenous to the land. And I am a product of that. My father is Lebanese, my mother is Croatian. So if I don't marry within the Lebanese sphere, my children will never have access to their heritage. That leaves them out of going to school there, healthcare, other opportunities. And there are women all over the world that suffer from that. It's great to say, oh, I live in Canada. Sure. And people would love that, and I know that, I'm aware of that. But we also have a heritage. We also come from somewhere. We come from something. We all do. And many of us get left out. We live in colonial superpower nations, and that's also a blessing in and of itself, or else many of us wouldn't be sitting here today. We wouldn't have what we have. I spent 5 years of my life working in the Middle East in education. I understand what the power of your passport means, and what that also means to women who come from the same bloodline as myself, who don't have the access to a Western passport, and what that means for their children if possibly they're gay, if possibly they marry someone that is outside of our culture. What happens then? Poverty, no education, no health care. Who will come for them? Let's say their spouse passes away. Let's say their spouse also comes from a developing nation. When I look around this room, I see a lot of diversity. I see a lot of people who may have a heritage that is in an emerging nation. We have sisters and brothers who are suffering, and we have to have a call to action. These laws, these colonial laws, these imposed laws, they have to change. I did my Stanford Fellowship on this topic, women and citizenship rights. And many of us need to stand for other women across the world as well. It's great for us to say, oh, that's sad, that's unfortunate. But unless we bring our voice forward, then who will do it for them? Because when your family, when your children are suffering, and it could be generational as well, it could become generational, if then the children also don't have an identified identity, then it becomes generational with who they possibly choose to marry. They become marginalized, they can suffer abuse, violence. So we need to stand for those people as well. And it's interesting because when I was listening to everyone speak, the theme that kept coming up was around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's what my talk is to help others, to stand for them, to look around the room and see who needs a hand up, to look around the world and see who needs a hand up. We think we can't do it, but you would be surprised how one seed can make a big difference. Recently, I chaired in my city, and actually this is a little side note, I'm running for city council, so you might see me a bit busy. Thank you. You might see me a bit busy, it's just because I'm preparing my campaign. But I recently chaired to have a street named, which is interesting because many of us come to Western nations from other countries in the world. And so we have pockets of communities. I'm sure you know that. There's areas where you can get very delicious food. And so I chaired to have a street named in honor of our Lebanese heritage. And every day I go online and all I see is hate. They're taking over. There's too many of them. I just want to know what we're taking over, though. I'm unsure. I'm unclear what we're taking over. But it's amazing to me how that kind of hate and violence towards others continues. And it's woven into the fabric of many societies. And we can't only point the blame at Western nations, because I have a heritage of a country where women cannot access citizenship rights. Sure, everyone's looking for the top neurosurgeon so they can have a life of luxury, be a lady of leisure. But that's not the case. And people marry who they marry, and they love who they love. And no one is in charge of that. No one can tell you, yes, you must do that. As I said, I teach grade 8. I can barely get them to listen in a lesson. And so when I open the Facebook and I see the hate around a small sign, I look back and think about my thematic topic for women and citizenship rights, and it seems like a huge daunting task to get people to simply change their mind. But it isn't. If we bring awareness, if we come to people without argument, as our colleague said, if we ask people to sit on the bench with us and talk to us with love and compassion and education, we can change people's minds. I stood up in front of a room of delegates at Stanford. I am not on their level. They have earned their stripes. And I explained to them why these colonial laws need to change. 17 countries is too many. One country is too many. Half of the world is women. We give life. We promote culture, we promote heritage, we take care of families, we take care of elders. And if you're the eldest girl, please raise your hand. You're taking care of everyone. And I didn't make that up. That was actually a study I read recently. And if you come from an ethnic family, you know that you have to bite your tongue. Because the aunties, the grandmas, your mother, everyone is looking at you to lead the helm. And sometimes it's overwhelming and it's hard, and we need people to lean on. And that is why if we can't have our basic rights, how can we take care of others? How can we lead the next generation of women in our culture, in our community where we live, in order to prosper and thrive? It's impossible. It is impossible. Maybe you're not as attached to your heritage like myself, but I feel that when we dig a little deeper, we will learn about ourselves. We will learn about our ancestors. And you will find that seed to help in that community wherever you may live and abroad. And you'd be surprised. It does ruffle feathers. And especially for myself in the Middle Eastern culture, we have a lot of hierarchies. You know, the Middle East or West Asia is part of Asia. We have a lot of hierarchies. We have a lot of protocols. And it does ruffle feathers, and people don't like it. And there's all the excuses in the world as to why things can't change. But I don't believe that. I work with children. Every minute of every day they change. And they're okay with it, and everybody's okay with it. And I feel that even as adults, in political settings, in very tense environments, when the temperature is extremely high, we can still lead with love and compassion and education, and we can change people's minds. No one is taking over anything. It's okay that women get married to who they want to marry. It's okay that they have citizenship. It's okay that their children access education, that they access health care, that they prosper, that the community prospers. And this is my message all the time. If people have access to their basic needs, they can prosper, and so can the community. And laws can be changed. They can be amended. We don't have to hurt everyone's feelings with change, but we can amend them. We can make a difference. And so, when I was listening to everyone, before I wrap up and take any questions, I saw that someone had spoken earlier about yoga and Pilates in their 40s. And so I also do Pilates, actually, and it really helps to think about the things that matter. And someone else had spoken about taking a break, and so that's very interesting, because often I always seem to think I'm on the bench and I'm not in the field. But actually, any small seed that we do is a step forward. And I think we've all not taken opportunities or not taken jobs to care for others. And I know that it can be devastating, because you look around and you think, well, why not me? Why don't I have that capacity? But you do. It might just be a moment in time, like a little drop of water in a big sea, that it isn't your time at that time. And I also, as my friend at the table said, have had to learn the word no. It's a bit fluid in my family. No looks like maybe, looks like yes, looks like probably. It's a bit fluid, looks like inshallah, I'll get to it, you know. But I've also had to learn that no is a complete sentence. And when I'm up in a room and I'm defending women who need citizenship, whose children have no access to health care, that's okay. Again, I teach grade 8, don't worry, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to my life from 8:30 to 3. That's nothing. Actually, keep going, don't worry. I can also go right above it. No, I'm teasing you, I'm just teasing you. And I'm getting the backlash about, well, if they marry from this culture, then it'll disrupt the political system, or if they marry this person, it'll disrupt the political system. The political system is not working anyway. So no, it has to change. The laws have to change. Again, I want to wish everyone, you did all a wonderful job. And I wish for all of you as well, that you put your hand out to another woman who needs help. It might not be here. It might be somebody on LinkedIn who lives in Syria, who lives in Moldova, who is also fighting a cause. You would be surprised what a little exchange, sharing of resources can do for others. I'm Natasha, and that's my talk today.